that are run within ETA. A lot of what Steve has said is actually underpinned within the qualifications in terms of how we set them up and what they basically involve. And without going into too much detail, ETA has three basic streams. There's a fitness stream, there's a management stream, there's a coaching stream. And we offer a number of courses, full-time courses at campuses in 9 regions across South Africa and internationally as well. And these courses vary from a certificate type of course, which is a 120 credit 1-year certificate, to a diploma, which is over a 2-year period. And obviously the courses are structured accordingly, where coaching science has both a certificate and a diploma. So in other words, a person coming out of school or having some experience in the field of coaching can come in and they can gain a formal qualification within a coaching science stream. All our courses, obviously with the exception of, not with the exception of sports management, but certainly these two, the underpinning here is science. So what we do is we go back to research, we link quite closely with various universities around South Africa, and we are currently up to date with the current research in sports science. So unfortunately when I was at university, everything that I learned, all those theories have now been disproven. And I'm sure Paul's a lot older than me, so if you have to go back, a lot of them don't even exist anymore. So what we found is in all our qualifications, they are continuously changing. And they're changing as the science becomes better. So if you study now and you study with us in 10 or 15 years' time, you'll find that the nature of the qualification is the same, but the fundamentals may differ, just based on what's happening in the medical field. So we've got 3 basic spheres. And what you need to probably understand here is that in our courses, the people that we get in aren't your A achievers, not a lot of them. Our entry level into our courses comes between 30 to 39% of a matric, or 40 to 49%. So we're allowing students to enter into a higher education framework at a much lower level than you could possibly get at many other private institutions, but certainly at public institutions. Steve has alluded to this in a small amount, but I just want to highlight it. Because we're not getting the A-class candidates, what we do at ETA is we allow students a number of ways or methods in terms of learning. Some of us are very strong visual learners, so if we see something out on the field, we can understand it, we integrate it, and we learn as we see. Others of us are doers. So others of us need to be busy with our hands. Others of us are good with the written word. Others of us need to combine all of it together. And in ETA, what we do is we don't just make sure that you sit down in front of a book and study. Because ultimately, you are going to have that experience where you go and sit across the table from a client and you need to then start interacting. So a lot of the learning that underpins our qualifications comes from theoretical learning. So there is a basic amount of knowledge and theory that students have to understand. There's a practical application of that learning. So what you see happening around here, a lot of that is just practically learning to apply the physiology, the science, the medical knowledge, the injury knowledge, the warm-up knowledge, etc., that we learn in the theory, and being able to apply that. And then the last one is obviously in the workplace experience. So now we provide the students with an opportunity to go into the workplace and use the skills that they've learned in order to further their learning. And that's just the way that we've done it, and we've seen that it's been quite successful thus far. I think importantly at this stage is just to go through one of our fundamental key blocks here is to make sure that we are accredited with various educational authorities. And we have 2 authorities that we look to. One is called CAT-CETA, which is a CETA-based qualification, and the other one is CHE, which falls under the Department of Education. And currently, our qualifications, the majority of them, 5 out of the 6 full-time courses that we offer are registered with CAT-CETA. All right? We are in the process of changing to CHE, which is the Department of Education, which is exactly the same as what the public institutions need to do as well. And we just feel going forward, and I'll highlight that a little bit later, we just feel that the CHE is a better place to be, but all our courses that we offer are registered, and they have the right frameworks, and they have been spoken to by the relevant educational authorities. Also, what's happening within the fitness industry, if any of you are aware of the medical fraternity, everybody that practices in terms of medicine or physiotherapy or biokinetics has to belong to the Health Professionals Council of South Africa. So it's a professional body. And within the fitness industry, a body was formulated about 2 years ago called REPSA, and it's an international body. So there are affiliates in Australia, the UK, and America. And REPSA is an international body where fitness professionals can align their qualifications. So what we do is we don't get accredited by REPSA, we align ourselves with them and we allow REPSA to look at our qualifications so that our students can then have an international exposure. So what this does imply is that a lot of our students now can apply for jobs on cruise ships or can apply for jobs in other parts of the world because our qualifications are aligned with REPSA. And obviously REPSA recognizes qualifications and expertise because they have looked at our courses. It regulates standards within the industry, and I'm sure, certainly for us, it's something that we're really trying to improve on. We're trying to upgrade the nature of all the personal trainers, all the coaches, and all the sports managers that come through us to set a very, very high standard. Our members are bound by ethical practice, and I don't want to go too much into that, but that being said, it ensures continued education within the profession. And again, it's important. I know in law, in the profession of law, you have to do a certain amount of CPD courses. As I said at the beginning, if I know now what I learned at varsity, I'd be out of date. It's the same in the training and the management field. We have to continually update our knowledge to make sure that we are current. And by aligning ourselves with REPSA, we are ensuring that any person that comes through that is aligned with REPSA has to go through continuing education courses so that their knowledge just continues to be upgraded all the time. About 3 or 4 years ago, the Department of Education put together a framework where private providers, which is what ETA is, and public institutions, which is what you would go to study a degree or a bachelor's degree, can align themselves. And the only thing I'd like to just highlight here is we have, at the moment, we have certificates, advanced and high certificates and diplomas, which sit here. So this allows our students access into higher education. At a certificate level, if they're getting 30 to 39% as a matric student, or at a diploma level, if they're 40 to 49% admission criteria. The beauty behind this is that they can do a diploma, they can carry on to do a postgraduate diploma, and then almost cross over into a normal university type technical setting. And that is something that hasn't been done before. So what it allows our students that possibly didn't get the right type of matric or came from a background that wasn't conducive to learning, where as they go through the process of learning and acquiring knowledge in different ways, they can ultimately then put out to a doctoral degree. As Steve mentioned, this is our dream. Whether we ever create a person coming out of the PhD, we're not sure, but the pathway is there. And the pathway has been legitimated through the Department of Education. So we are allowing access at a lower entry level point, but the exit level is much higher.